I'm Tim Walker, the Director of the Metro Historical Commission, and I'd like to welcome you to our 38th Annual Preservation Awards program. This program began in 1973 with the support of then Mayor Beverly Briley. He was our first Metropolitan mayor, and it's had the continued support of all successive administrations, including Mayor Dean, and we want to thank you for that, Mayor. This program has had a long history of success in promoting and recognizing the value of preserving our city's historic architectural character. And through the program's history, we've recognized more than 400 buildings and projects. And today, we're excited to add to that list. But before we begin our presentation, I'd like to recognize those who have helped make today's event a success. So first, if the members of the Metro Historical Commission and Metro Historic Zoning Commission that are with us today, would you please stand? Thank you. Our two commissions volunteer their time and energy, and they provide guidance and support to staff, and we thank them for their service. I'd also like to thank Historic Nashville. Historic Nashville, or H&I, is our local nonprofit for historic preservation, and they're hosting the reception that follows this program. I also want to thank Jeff Reimer and Reimer Gallery at 233 Fifth Avenue North, just around the corner, for allowing us to use their gallery space for the reception this afternoon. And finally, I'd like to thank the Metro Public Library and its director, Ken Oliver, for the use of this wonderful auditorium space. And now I have the great honor of introducing the chair of the Metro Historical Commission, Dr. Bill McKee. He's also a professor of education and public service management at Cumberland University. Dr. McKee.
Well, thank you very much and welcome. I think Tim sort of forgot one group of people who really work very hard to put this program on and work on it every year. So I'd like to ask the staff of the Historical Zoning Commission and the Historical Commission to please stand for a round of applause. You know, Nashville's a great city, and it's a city on the move. It's making quantum leaps. You can't read in the media or watch television without us seeing how really blessed we are as a community. And you know, when you're blessed as a community, you have certain responsibilities. You know, one of those responsibilities is honoring our past. But another of those responsibilities is embracing our future. And honoring our past and embracing our future requires leadership. And it requires leadership at the highest level in our community. And I think we are very blessed at this point in the development of the metropolitan government of Nashville and Davidson County to have a great leader, a man of vision, a man of courage, a man who believed that the Music City Center could be built. And if you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to go down there. It's going to change the face of Nashville. So I want to take my brief period of time this afternoon to say thank you to Mayor Dean and to welcome him to this podium. And would you join me in a rousing applause for the 6th mayor of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, the Honorable Carl Dean.
Well, Bill, thank you for that very kind introduction. I appreciate it. And I'd like to acknowledge a few folks who are here. First, from the Metro Council, we have Phil Claiborne is here with us, Phil, and Karen Bennett is here, Peter Westerholm, and former council member Jim Forkham is here, along with Phil Ponder. And Nashville's historian, Carol Busey, is here. Thank you for being here, Carol. And last but not least, the first vice mayor of Nashville and a great guy, George Cate. George, thank you for being here. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of the Historic Commission in the last few weeks because they've been really active. The Commission has been instrumental in the region's sesquicentennial celebration. After a year, I can just rattle that word off. And Metro's 50th anniversary celebration and the recent launch of the Civil War brochure and the creation of historic trails and markers. It's a special thing when you have a city that is moving forward in all the national rankings, but also a city that is preserving and celebrating its history. Like many cities across the country, Nashville has a lot of history, but simply having a lot of history is not enough. With history being one of the fastest growing segments of tourism, a city needs to not only have a history, but it needs to show it. And the best way for a city to show its history is through historic preservation, which we do often and with zeal thanks to the efforts of the Historic Zoning Commission, the Historical Commission, and Tim Walker and his excellent staff. And fortunately, Nashville is a responsive city with over 350 properties having received a preservation award to date, with 10 council districts represented for all 2013 nominees. I appreciate each of you for the role that you have played to help Nashville show its history and the respect you have given the process. Without the preservation of many of our historical properties, Nashville would risk losing our sense of what makes us unique. So again, congratulations to you all for the winners here tonight, and congratulations to everybody for their hard work and their commitment to our city. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ann Leslie Owens, and it has been my pleasure to be one of the judges for this year's Preservation Awards, along with Joni Priest and Patrick McIntyre. Patrick, unfortunately, could not be with us this evening, so Joni and I will be making the awards presentations. Before we get started, Joni and I, and Patrick McIntyre in absentia, just want to commend all of the nominees. The judges, guided by Scarlett Miles and Fred Zahn of the Historical Commission staff, visited every nominated property. I must say, we were very impressed by the quality of the nominations. It was clear to each of us why these buildings were nominated for preservation awards. So our thanks to everyone associated with these buildings and with these monumental projects. It's gratifying to see that there are a lot of great people doing a lot of great work in Nashville's neighborhoods. Of course, this meant that judging them was not an easy task for us. But when we reviewed the buildings in person and came to understand the context and the circumstances of the particular projects, some projects stood above the rest. Those are the ones that we will be recognizing tonight. So how this will work today, as I read the honorable mentions and the winning projects' names, I will ask that all of the people associated with that particular project please stand and come forward to the stage. Here we have a step here in the center. And while you are coming forward, I will describe your project. We'll begin with the residential category, and here are the nominees. Three properties in this category received an honorable mention, and 4 received preservation awards. An honorable mention goes to the Niedermeyer House at 3717 Woodmont Boulevard. Michael Niedermeyer and Virginia Williams purchased this 1928 Tudor revival near the corner of Woodmont and Estes in 1986. They lived in the home for 12 years before renovating the home to meet their family's needs. The Niedermeyer home demonstrates the importance of long-term preservation efforts, including proper maintenance, harmonious additions, and going that extra mile to find those details that give a house its character. For example, when adding to the home, the team sourced and obtained clay roof tile from the same Italian company used for the original home. We appreciate the care, attention, and sensitive alterations given to this home over the years. Nice work. The second honorable mention goes to 3514 Gillespie Avenue. Tucked away on Gillespie Avenue, this century-old American foursquare was in disrepair when Anona Kicklighter enlisted Brett Hesselrod of HPH Inc. and Nancy Hayden Architect for a top-to-bottom rehabilitation. This team set to work stabilizing the foundation, updating the front porch, tending to the brick veneer, and connecting the home to a new garage. With top-notch sustainability features, including the geothermal heating and air, this home is ready for another 100 years. Great job. But don't sit down, because there's more. The next honorable mention goes to 3516 Gillespie Avenue. Like its next-door neighbor, this century-old foursquare was in rough shape before Anona Kicklighter and her team set to work rehabilitating the home. Along with stabilizing the home's exterior, the team added top-of-the-line amenities to the interior. We were already familiar with the home's before condition, and we commend the team for bringing this pair of houses back from the brink. Nice job. A preservation award goes to the Lynn Seth residence at 3533 Richland Avenue. Free Will Baptist Bible College purchased this single-family residence in the 1940s, initially using it for offices, classrooms, and an auditorium, and later converting it to a 6-apartment dormitory. When Michael and Manda Linseth purchased the building from Free Will, they assembled a team with diverse skills to return the property to a single-family residence. Using historic photos, the team repaired or replicated many of the home's features, including the damaged stucco and missing rafter tails, and located period hardware and fixtures to replace those lost over the years. The rehab project also included the addition of a modest garage. We think the end result is truly fantastic. And as a side note, some of you may know this as the Bear Bryant home. It is reported that Bear Bryant rented here in the 1940s. So just an interesting aside. But it did not influence our decision, the judge's decision. The next preservation award goes to 208 South 11th Street. When George Brandt took on this project in 2011, the house was severely dilapidated. Several rooms were even missing half of their flooring. The comprehensive rehabilitation project included restoration of the stained glass, millwork, and fireplaces. The project also reversed several inappropriate alterations of the home's character-defining features. Now, the front picture window, gable vent, and porch posts properly reflect the home's historic architecture. The project included a new addition, appropriately scaled for the original home. This is a great project, and we hope it encourages good work from other neighbors. And the next preservation award goes to 603 Fatherland. Not one to shy away from another complicated project, George Brandt began this rehab project in 2011. After years as a rental property, the home was in great disrepair and had suffered many alterations. As part of the project, George restored the original windows, rebuilt a dormer that had been removed vinyl and aluminum from the home, and restored the front porch. We think this is a great example of maximizing a home's space, but with a light touch. Congratulations. A preservation award goes to the Cigaran House residence at 212 Craighead Avenue. Chris and Catherine Cigaran called on Allard Ward Architects and Joshua Builders for an extensive renovation of their early 1930s colonial revival home. The project included a new kitchen, modern plumbing and electrical systems, and a new addition. The team also expanded the front stoop and replaced the Doric columns. We think the new addition is tucked nicely behind the home and is well executed and appropriate for the site. A beautiful job. And now we'll turn to the educational and institutional category. Here are the nominees. An honorable mention goes to Amqui Station in Madison. Built by the Louisville and Nashville Railroad in 1910, the Amqui Passenger Station and Signal Tower served until the 1970s. When L&N vacated the station, Johnny Cash purchased the building and moved it to his property in Hendersonville. Thanks to the generosity of Halo Properties, AT&T, and fundraising efforts by Discover Madison, Amqui Station has returned to Madison and now serves as a museum, highlighting the adventure and music of the railroad. We commend the project team, including McFarland, Hewitt, Penvini Architects, and Hardin and Barja Construction, for allowing the station to show its age by keeping the rough weatherboard and the hand-carved initials. The station has endured a lot of changes in its long life, and we are pleased to see it back home. And a preservation award now goes to Two Rivers Mansion. The project involved exterior millwork restoration and porch repair. Over the years, numerous layers of paint on the mansion's exterior woodwork had cracked, allowing moisture to cause extensive damage. Additionally, the layers of paint had concealed the intricate details of the architectural trim and decorative carvings. After cataloging each trim element and noting the item's current condition, Grau General Contracting and Bolton Enterprises painstakingly restored the pieces, working to salvage and reuse as many elements as possible. Those that were beyond reuse were replicated using reclaimed vintage materials. The team also meticulously restored the porch, veranda, and double-hung windows. As a final touch, the team applied finish painting using a color scheme determined by paint analysis records. Two Rivers Mansion is one of the gems of our city, and we commend Metro Parks and Friends of Two Rivers Mansion for undertaking such a comprehensive project. The final product is truly fantastic, perhaps even best in show, thanks to the careful attention to detail from all involved. So congratulations to all of these award winners and honorable mentions. And now Joni will take over and give out the next set of awards.
Thank you, Ann Leslie. I'll begin with the commercial category. Here are the nominees. We had great, outstanding nominees in this category. A preservation award goes to Lachlan Table at 1520 Woodland Street. Built in the 1930s, this commercial building at the corner of Woodland and North 16th has hosted businesses of all kinds. After its early days as an H.G. Hill grocery, the building experienced quite a few changes as it transitioned to drugstore, beauty salon, and art studio. To transform the building into a restaurant, Kara Graham and Hal Holdenbach turned to Nick Dryden of Dade and Schaub Construction to convert the interior and add a side covered patio. The team used historic photos to guide them to return the front roof line to its original design. Keeping the boutique coiffeur ad was a bonus. Nice work. The next preservation award goes to the Public Works garages at Rolling Mill Hill. Commonly known as the trolley barns, you may refer to it as that, the Public Works garages were constructed through a New Deal program to house various municipal public works departments. The 6 converted garages, encompassing more than 80,000 square feet, are now home to several businesses offering abundant natural light, interior brick walls, and vaulted ceilings for tenants. The project team, which included MDHA, Littlejohn Engineering, Centric Architecture, Hawkins Partners, and the Matthews Company, worked to retain historical elements such as the Bose steel truss roof system, original metal frame windows, stepped parapet roof lines, and decorative brick detailing. The new plazas help to connect the buildings and offer space for outdoor activity. We were blown away by this project, and we think it's a terrific example of adaptive reuse. Okay, and the final preservation award for the commercial category goes to the Bridge Building. In 1908, Arthur Dyer built a 6-story, 5,000 square foot office building for his newly founded Nashville Bridge Company. It would be the first of many structures built for what would become as Nebrico. Enlarged in 1923 and 1965, today the Bridge Building is one of the few industrial facilities remaining on the east bank of the river and is an integral part of the Riverfront Redevelopment Initiative, which includes Cumberland Park and the Shelby Street pedestrian bridge. If y'all haven't been over there, you have to go. It's really amazing from that side of the river. With this charge, the project team, which included MDHA, Hastings Architecture, R.G. Anderson, Hawkins Partners, Barge Cawthon, EMC Structural Engineers, and Power Management Corporation, worked to embrace the building's industrial character while incorporating modern-day infrastructure and life safety features. The sculptural new additions reference the Nebrico's history with barge construction and suggest the hull of a barge. The end result is quirky and fun, but also demonstrates thought and care devoted to conveying the site's industrial heritage. Additionally, sustainable features for the site have been added, and cross your fingers, the project is slated to get LEED Platinum certification. Congratulations. Okay, now on to the infill category. Here are the nominees. Great. An honorable mention goes to the Ryman Lofts at 100 Middleton Street. Located on Rolling Mill Hill near the former site of the city's general hospital, Ryman Lofts is Nashville's first affordable rental community designed with a preference for artists. We thought the project team of Smith G Studio, R.G. Anderson Company, and Hawkins Partners did a great job combining an old industrial aesthetic with playful artistry. We also thought that the scale was appropriate for the site and fit in nicely with the historic buildings there. It's a fun addition to this overall development. Congratulations. Okay, a preservation award for infill goes to 1104 Haysboro Avenue. The design and development team of Tailor Made Homes, Michael Craddock Sr. and Michael Craddock Jr. gathered inspiration from historic homes in the area to create a home that is harmonious with the neighborhood. We really liked how this new house fit the scale of its mid-century neighbors, something that not all neighborhoods are doing a great job at. And we also liked the open gable end on the porch. Congratulations. The next preservation award goes to 1812 Ordway Place. This infill project made the most of a unique design not found in other parts of Nashville. Working with a small corner lot in a cluster of 1920s Spanish revival homes called Little Hollywood, architect Mitch Hodge and Woodland Street partners found inspiration in the design of the neighborhood homes. The team used modern materials and stripped the design elements down just a little bit to provide a contemporary take on Spanish revival style. We think it's a really great addition to this neighborhood, a really good job. Well done. And the last preservation award goes to Lillian Street. This infill project involves several new single-family homes, 7 to be exact, that are constructed primarily in the 1200 block of Lillian Street. The design and development team of Pfeffer Tord Architects and Building Masters transformed what was a collection of non-historic homes in poor condition into a visually striking new development in the East End neighborhood. The new homes offer the comforts of modern construction and are appropriately scaled for the street and the larger neighborhood. We liked the variety of the architectural design and admired the team's bold approach to redeveloping an entire block. Not an easy feat. Congratulations. And congratulations to all of the award winners and all of the nominees. Now I'd like to introduce to you Commissioner Holly Connor, who will present the 3 of the first special awards.
The Achievement Award is given to an individual in recognition of his or her extraordinary leadership in preserving Nashville's history, either through research and writing history or through advocacy and raising public awareness of history and preservation. For over 40 years, that is what Ann Dobson Tidwell has been doing for our community. Ann has tirelessly worked to protect, conserve, and promote many of Nashville's beloved parks and natural resources. The former Metro School's English and Spanish teacher is known for her passion for preservation. With many threats to Radnor Lake, Ann helped organize the campaign to save Radnor Lake, along with her husband, formed the organization that became known as Friends of Radnor Lake. Ann has consistently fought to preserve the lake, its surrounding land, and its inhabitants for much of her life. In addition to serving on the board of directors for over 25 years, she has held numerous leadership roles within the organization, including chair of the 30th anniversary celebration, chair of Public Affairs Committee, vice president, and president. Through Ann's leadership, Radnor Lake became designated as the first state natural area. Originally over 700 acres, through Ann's tireless leadership and passion, the lake is now double that in size. Radnor Lake originated as a water resource to make steam for the railway system and to water the livestock. Ann and others helped link that history in creating the Valve House Trail at Radnor that educates park visitors to the beginnings of Radnor and its link to our history. As part of her lifelong commitment to protecting our community's natural resources and promoting environmentally sensitive outdoor recreation, Ann has been a vital advocate in the development of Nashville's greenway corridors and recreational trails. But her footprint is more than local. It is statewide. Ann currently serves as treasurer of the Tennessee Parks and Greenways Foundation, board member of the Land Trust for Tennessee, and member of the State of Tennessee Natural Areas Advisory Council. She chaired the Governor's Commission on Tennesseans Outdoors, and several governors have recognized her passion and her expertise on these issues through appointments to special task forces and an environmental regulatory board. In 2004, Ann received the Robert Sparks Walker Lifetime Achievement Award, one of the state's most prestigious environmental and conservation awards. Friends of Radnor Lake also recognized Ann for her service to the organization in 2011 with the Friends of Radnor Lake Environmental Award. Ann's past preservation and community service is, just doing the research in this, I was like, one person can't be doing all this. She was chair of the Governor's Commission on Tennesseans Outdoors, chair of the State Scenic Rivers Task Force, president of Tennessee Scenic Rivers Association, founder and first president of Greenways for Nashville, founding board of directors member and Friends of Warner Park, chair of Tennessee Natural Areas Council, board member of the Tennessee Environmental Council, Tennessee Water Control Board member for 11 years, including chair. Ann is married to Clark Tidwell, mother to 2 sons, Paul and Howard, and self-professed lover of 4 grandchildren. Gene Nelson, president and executive director of the Land Trust for Tennessee, said Ann undoubtedly goes on every top 10 list of the finest and the most positive citizens. But for me, she tops the list of Nashvillians who have a deep sense of the place we call home. Everywhere we turn in Nashville and across the state, there are marks of her caring. Ann is now turning her energy to the Land Trust Farm at Glen Levin, so stay tuned for another great place marked by Ann. Finally, Greer Tidwell, no relation, but he claims relation. You both claim relation. As current president of Friends of Radnor Lake, said of Ann that there are now over 1 million visitors a year to Radnor, in great part due to her efforts. Greer believes this is Ann's way of telling 1 million visitors a year she loves them. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2013 Achievement Award winner, Ann Tidwell.
Ms. Tidwell.
I was just telling our mayor, first of all, thank you. I think everybody in this room has done so much. And what I've done is just have a fun part with a lot of different good organizations that were going somewhere and doing something great. And so it's really, I'm just taking this honor for everybody on all these boards who work so hard. I was telling the mayor, when my husband told one of my sons that I was getting this award, he said, "Oh, I know why. It's all that stuff she keeps in the basement, in the garage." and that's true. I keep everything. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to introduce Barry Walker in Marathon Village as the Commissioner's Award. A native of Jackson, Tennessee, Barry Walker moved to Nashville in 1979. After working a variety of odd jobs, he started his own business, the Ingenuity Shop, and that really tells a lot about his future. Designing and building high-end office furniture, and he designed and built audio-visual consoles and refurbished elevator cabs. As his business outgrew first one space and then another, Mr. Walker made a daring decision that would change the fate of a collection of industrial buildings on Clinton Street and revive interest in Nashville's automotive history. At the time, the neighborhood surrounding the former Marathon Motor Works plant was the most crime-ridden area in the city. But a vacant 32,000 square foot building offered a solution to Mr. Walker's need for more space. With original portions dating to 1912, the three-story building, first built for Marathon's administrative offices, was a bargain at $52,000. Undeterred by neighborhood crime or the building's condition, Barry Walker purchased the property at 1305 Clinton Street in 1986. Those first years on Clinton Street required quick instincts and survival skills, and Barry Walker's stories are legendary. Many said he was crazy. One story he tells is that he was clearing some brush around his building, and the police showed up, and they said, "What are you doing here? You have to have a weapon to survive in here." He said, "Well, I've got a .38, and the police said, "You need a .357 Magnum." Also, he takes great pride in ridding the area of drug dealers. One day, in clearing the brush, he found a rattlesnake. He kept it in his office for a couple of months, and his sister here said that he really had to get rid of that. She was working on him to get rid of it. So one day, he gets a long pole with a loop on it, takes the snake out to this group of drug dealers that were doing drugs every day at the same place on the same time. And he holds this snake dangling out there. And somebody said, "Snake?" And he said, "Oh yeah, that's a rattlesnake, and there's a whole nest of them right over here." You know, they moved their activities, but they've never been back to Clinton Street. After establishing his business in the new location, he began renovating the upstairs studios and welcomed his first tenant in 1989. He eventually purchased the back of the 130,000 square foot building in 1992 and the front in 1994. For over 25 years, Mr. Walker has carefully and strategically rehabilitated Clinton Street, often completing the work on his own using salvaged materials. The multi-building complex known as Marathon Village now encompasses 4 sparked resurgences, and on his plan to stretch Clinton Street into a creative community, Mr. Walker once said, "People from Nashville and out of town will come here." Thanks to his tenacious, pioneering spirit, Marathon Village is indeed a destination for locals alike. Although the complex has housed a variety of businesses since the first building was constructed in 1881, it is best known for its years as the Marathon Motor Works. Mr. Walker has dedicated much of his energy to sharing the story of Marathon through his purchase and display of artifacts, photographs, and blueprints, and actually has ownership of 4 of the 8 known Marathon vehicles. As a note, Barry was also served on the Metro Arts Commission from 1992 to 1999. You want to welcome my good friend and a great friend of preservationists everywhere, Barry Walker.
Well, I really appreciate it. I'd have to say, going back 1979, I was living in Knoxville, and I remember I gave a gentleman, friend of mine, the first month's rent. And I had everything loaded up. I had a little old Z-car with a missing fender and a trailer I'd built in high school with a set of drums and a mattress, but I had a problem. I had everything loaded up, ready to come to Nashville, but I had no gas money. And so I remember I had to trade a stereo I sold for $40. That was enough money to get gas from Knoxville to Nashville and gave me $20 to live on for food. So I've seen Nashville change just dramatically over the last 30-something years I've been here. Back in the old days, I used to ramble through the old Union Station and go through there with all the bums and trying to find historical stuff, and just going through the old Tennessee Theater. In Marathon, there's so much stuff of history, all from the Sam Davis Hotel to the Tennessee Theater and the different parts. And the whole destination of Marathon for me has been a real challenge over the years. I've met a lot of great people over the years. All the challenging and all the history and enriches it. It makes you feel so good. I remember in the old days, Ann Roberts and Tim Walker would call me up, and I would meet with different people that were thinking about doing some rehab on some properties and going through those phases, which is pretty interesting. We had a lot of different things to make sure, because I did have some back in the 80s, thank goodness for the Historical Commission, working with the Metro Fire Department and the codes to make things better for people doing historical preservations. And it's a really, really good thing that they've done. But look what Nashville has changed just in the last 10, 20 years. I mean, from the infill and what the Historical Commission has done for this town and really helped me out in Nashville with a great mayor and everything we've done. I mean, every direction in Nashville has changed. People 20 years ago, 25 years ago would hardly even go downtown. Now it's just flooded. It's just a wonderful thing. I think Nashville is one of the leading cities, is a good example of saving historical preservation. Unfortunately, we lose so much of that in this country, and it just really shows such quality of these young people, what you're missing. And I really want to thank the commissioners for this award, and I want to thank Tim and his crew and Ann Roberts for everything they've done for me for the years. And I want to thank my wife for sticking to me when I'm late at work, and my daughter when I'm never at home, and then David Wilson for me, with being here for 25 years, helping me through the thick and thin, because I guarantee you, we did some pretty crazy stuff over the last 20-something years developing that. So thank you very much, and thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate the invitation to be here, and it's certainly an honor and a privilege to me to present the Leadership Award in History to our next recipient. And Vice Mayor Cates, if you want to come on up here with me now, we'll give them a longer look at you. I always want him standing close by. Mr. Cate is a lifelong resident of Nashville, Tennessee. He graduated from East High School here in Nashville in 1945. One of the many people who went into politics. We have several mayors, of course, that went to East High School. And went on to Vanderbilt University in 1949. He earned his LLB from Vanderbilt Law School and received the Founders Medal for the class of 1951. And he actually worked in private law practice ever since then, except for a couple of years when he had active duty with the U.S. Army's Judge Advocate General's Corps, and that was from 52 to 54. And shortly after he returned from that, this is where it gets good for Nashville and the metropolitan area, he became part of the Citizens Committee for Better Government. And that was an organization supporting the consolidation of Nashville and Davidson County. And I'm sure a lot of you that were residents of Nashville, Davidson County, then knew we had two separate governments, city and county. I can remember the old city limit signs there at Legion Fields. I lived in the Antioch area, so certainly, but he went to work on that, and he spoke to community groups, civic organizations, and the media as part of the campaign, and he eventually became chairman in 1962. And with all of his hard work, and with that, it passed the referendum creating the Metro Charter in June 1962. And he actually won the first office as vice mayor in November, and quickly went to work. And I can imagine with some of the wording that I had in the notes as things that they had to work on with passing the rules of procedure, committee appointments, and all that you had to do to get ready to run metropolitan government. And anyway, he was very instrumental in that. He was sworn in as vice mayor of the metropolitan government in Davis County on April 1st, 1963. He presided over the first Metro Council meeting the following day and served until 1966. That was the year I got out of high school. Since his term as vice mayor, Mr. Cate has held several leadership roles in a variety of civic and professional organizations, remained active in government through numerous mayoral appointments. He served on the Metropolitan Board of Education from 76 to 82, chaired the first Metropolitan Tree Board from 86 to 94, and shared his expertise with the Council Board of Ethical Conduct for over 15 years, from 1996 to 2013. As a matter of fact, I think you taught an ethical class to one of our council groups the first couple of years I was in the council. Additionally, he has served on the Metropolitan Historical Commission since 1998. Regarded as an expert on Metro for 50 years, Vice Mayor Cate has generously shared his knowledge and insight about the creation of our metropolitan government with scholars and leaders from other cities, and he has been instrumental in educating Nashvillians about our community's unique history. And if you follow the papers along every now and then, you'll see where some other cities considering combining city and county government, and a lot of times it doesn't go through. So I know that they had to have done their homework and worked really hard. And certainly the Nashville that we know today is what it is because of people like Vice Mayor Cate and their hard work. And he worked with, like I said, mayors and the council people and really got it to almost perfection, I guess you'd say, because like I said, we're a model for really other cities. And most recently, our Metro at 50 celebration, Mayor Dean enlisted his help he was on the panel, and for last year, he has served extensively in educating other folks, and thank goodness we've got a lot of that on tape now, and we'll be able to preserve that history forever. So with that, I want to say too, he does have his wife Frida. They have 4 kids and 4 grandchildren, and I learned that all of his children still live in Nashville, so that's a good thing too, Vice Mayor. And I would like to present to you, or I'll let the mayor present, I guess, but all right. Almost got ahead of the game here, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Indeed. Mayor Dean, Jim Folcom, when you yield the privilege of the floor to an old politician, you run the serious risk that he will launch into an extended campaign speech. In order to overcome that temptation, I decided I would simply write down 2 sentences that I thought said all I needed to say. And here they are. To spend a lifetime in Nashville is to become increasingly aware that Nashville's greatest resource lies in her people, whose history, traditions, and instincts for preservation enrich our very existence. To them, I acknowledge an indebtedness which far exceeds my capability to repay. Those are my two sons.
If I could just add briefly, George is a really unique person. He is somebody who created history and then who has talked about it and taught others about it, which is really a wonderful thing. If you think back to the creation of the Metropolitan government 50 years ago, it was a really big deal when it happened, and it's still a really big deal. And we owe so much to the folks who made it happen. This city would not be what it is without that happening. And George has been a huge part of this community ever since, serving as vice mayor, but being active in almost every role imaginable in the city, a member of the bar, a highly respected member of the bar. And then I think this year did a great job in his efforts for the 50th celebration for Metro. So George, thank you for that. But the best thing about him is he's just a wonderful guy. We got to know each other when I was a brand new public defender, riding the elevators with George at the Stallman building before it was renovated, before it was a desirable place to be. And he is the friendliest man in Nashville and the best. So congratulations, George.
Would you please join me in congratulating all our award winners today?
Hello, my name is Melissa Wiley, and I'm the president of Historic Nashville. We are so proud to have been a part of this event, and we're proud to sponsor the reception that follows across the street, kind of, at the Reimer Gallery. Thank you all for being here, and congratulations to all of the award winners. Thank you.
And this concludes our program. We hope to see you at the reception.